Good morning. Welcome to part 5 of replacing the rotted wood on this deck. Today should be an easier day. As you saw in the end of part 4, we just laid in the wood. So actually we could get out on the deck from the back door. So now what I got to do is to screw in some more of these 2x6s. And we'll leave the last 2 out until we trim down that one piece at the end. So we're going to set you up here. I got to go and get my tools, so stay tuned. Let the screwing begin. Yes, let the screwing begin. Okay, we cut out a piece of scrap wood here, and that's going to be a wedge. You can see that over there. Alright, that just drives it right in to the next board. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera now. I got to screw in one more board, and I'm going to leave one out so that I can pull that end board out and properly fit it in there. So you don't need to see me do all that. We'll stop. Tommy's working, so I'm the sole operator with the camera right now. We'll be back. Okay, I think I might have had to switch on audio on this. I can't see this damn print on this side of the bob lob. I'm going to get a magnifying glass to see it, so I think I turned the wrong switch, so I'm going to have to go up and show you what I've done here. We screwed some more boards in here. And getting ready to screw this down. But we gotta drive this over. So what I'm going to do is take one of these old pieces of wood here, wedge it in here and push it down here to jam this up tight there, and I'll do the same at the other end. Now these are all screwed down, but I'm not sure if I got it on video or not. So, and then I'll end it here, and we're going to take this out and we're going to trim it. Gotta rip it down so that these two pieces here will fit right in here. Right now, only 1.5 will fit in there. So I'd rather rip this down. So we're going to do that. But I would like to be able to fill in this gap here. And I got a gap here. So what I gotta do is I gotta take the skill saw. I'll bring this over on the bench, take the skill saw and cut this here. So I don't get that closer. That'll fill in this gap here. I'll do that. So I gotta cut the piece of wood so I can use it as a wedge. Okay, by the way, this is part 5 because like I said, I'm not sure if I recorded only audio or not, because Tommy was doing the editing and the switch might have gotten changed over, I don't know. And I have to keep taking a magnifying glass and looking on the side of the bob lob to see if there's 2 switches, one on each side. One is on and off, and the other one is camera or audio. And I might have hit the one for audio, which will do us no good. Anyways, what I got to do now is, before I can put this piece in, this is an old 2x6, but you can see it's not going to fit, see. But what I got to do here is I got to cut this out. I got to put this over on the bench and cut this out so that this wood will come in more and close this gap over here. Over here, it's okay. Then I got to rip it down. I got to take a measurement. This is all secured in now. So all the wood is screwed in, except for this one and the one that I got to put in here. So I'd rather do the ripping on this rather than have an uneven piece, kind of like where it can be seen more. And I want to get that fitted better, because this gap right here doesn't sit well with me. And neither does this. So I may have to do some ripping on this side too. And that's not going to be easy. I want to try to use my skill saw. But I don't have an 8-foot piece of wood. Well, actually I do. I can clamp that down so I can just run my skill saw along it as a straight edge. So we can do that. But I don't really want to get the table saw out. Half a day's work getting it out of the shed. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to try to finish this today, and I think we can if the damn weather holds out. Alright. Hey. Now this I cut on the line, but I always like to cut less than more. But on that one there, I misjudged and I cut too deep. So this has a gap between here and the other piece on the outside. So if I cut about an 1/8 inch off, just about a blade width, it's going to be hard because I have to look at the blade itself on the skill saw, and I'm going to put my reading glasses on when I do this. And I just got to skim enough off so that this wood will close up and the gap here will be less. It may not do much for this and the one at the far end, which is nearest the house, because the only way I can accomplish that would be to rip down this, and I would have to rip down probably 1/4 of an inch, and that's not going to be easy. Laying that big 2x6 down here is a straight edge and trying to run my skill saw through it. I could try it, but I have to skim off just enough to make this go in. And then when I'm done with that, I probably have to recut this. But anyways, let's cut this and see what it does. I'll set you over here. It's not going to be really good. Sun's probably in the lens, but and there's going to be vibration. And you may hear noise of the nails. I'm on a container of screws. So let's see here what we got to cut off. Yeah. Now if I can see the line with the sawdust flying up and everything else. This is a good saw, but I have, like I say, a better one. I can't find it. It's in the shed somewhere. 2 of them I have in there. Alright, now we've got to look at the blade. Okay, it's about where we want to be. I can still see my line, so I want to cut the line. In this case, I want to cut the line. Just can't get it. You need a table saw. If I take too much off, then I'm going to have a gap on this one. Oh. Maybe I gotta make a longer, bigger line. If I can see it. That's better. Okay. I'm gonna go get my hand saw to finish that off. Okay, that's not bad. Not perfect. I do my best work with using a table saw, but this is too awkward. The 8-footer to run through the table saw, not that small table saw I got. Alright, so we're going to bring it over there. I'll do that off camera because I still think these two are going to have that big 1/4 inch gap in there. And then I still got to rip it down here. And I'll do the measurements once I see how tight I can get this over this way. I'll do all that off camera. I'm going to have to freehand this damn thing. It's about 1 inch. It's very, very, very hard for me to see. The new wood is just a hair under 5 3/4 inches wide. In other words, it's normally 5 1/2. So I want a tight fit without a gap, but it's going to be, I can't use this because when I put the saw down, this has to be way over here. And the wood's going to fall off the edge, and I'm going to cut into my bench anyways. So what I'm going to have to do is eliminate this and freehand it. It's going to come out lousy. I know what's going to happen. The saw is going to go one way or the other. It's going to look like crap. It's going to look like crap. But there's no way I can rip that down unless I get the table saw out. That's a half a day's work getting it out of the shed. It's the only big obstacle. I got everything measured, fit in perfectly. I spent about a half an hour with my face right on top of the work to try to get the exact measurements between the last screwed down pressure treated 2x6 and the width of it is, like I say, almost 5 3/4, not quite. It's a hair under that. And you got your blade thickness too to figure about. So I figured roughly 1 inch. It varies, you know. So I'm going to have to, I can't put this through a table saw anyways, it's too long. So I'm going to have to freehand it. There's no way I'm going to be able to. The only way I could freehand it is if I had an 8-foot board, a small board. I don't have it. All I got, anything that I got now left is this, 8 foot. I don't have anything else. So I am not even going to put this part on the camera because I know I'm going to screw up. I know I am. Because when I start, it's very hard for me to see the line. The sawdust gets in the way, and I don't have the laser skill saw because I can't find it. But I got to rip this all the way down 1 inch. Now either I have to rip this one or rip this one, and I'd rather do this one. If I screw it up, I'm going to have to go and get another piece of wood and do the whole damn thing again, which means this deck won't get done. Alright. Like I say, I'm no carpenter. If Rich was here, the guy that did our bathroom floor, he's a finished carpenter. He would know how to do it. I mean, I know my basic carpentry, but when it comes to this, I don't have it. I don't have those things you can lay down and put it. I think they're only 4 feet long anyways. Now I've got the 4-foot 2x4, but that's too wide because I got to bring the thing way over here and it's going to fall off. And I'm going to cut my bench doing it anyway, so I'll have to turn this around and overhang it. The bench is so damn rotted. I got to do all my clamping on the edge. Oh well, we'll get it done. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll show you if I succeed on it, I'll show you. Because that's the only thing, and then we're ready to close it up. Okay, this is the way I'm going to have to do it. I clamp it to my rotten bench. It's overhung about 1 inch, and that's what I got to take off. I'm going to have to freehand it. I'm going to get my black magic marker and redraw this line because I will not see it with the sawdust in there. And we're going to freehand it all the way down. I have no choice because I don't have a guide board here. This is too wide to be used as a guide board. If this board was wider, yeah, otherwise guide board's going to fall off. I can't do it. Not that I know of. It's going to be fun, so I'm not doing it on camera, as I said, but I figured I'd just show you. Like I say, I don't claim to be a carpenter. I can do basic things. I can't do real intricate work. Not good at angles. Thank goodness for the chop saw. That makes a big difference on angles when I do them. So everything fits better. This fits with less space between this and the 4x4. And this one also. So this is up near the house. So if I got my measurements right, I measured about 4 or 5 times. And we're going to cut once. And I hope I can stay on track. If not, it's going to be a lousy, lousy cut. There's no other way I can do it. I can't run this through this table saw. It's too long. I got one of those rollers that you put at the end, but my table saw is too small for an 8-foot piece like this. For ripping. Ripping is not an easy thing to do. Alright, let me get going here. Be back after I get this done. This is going to be the end of it for today. What is this, part 5? We're going to continue with part 5 in a matter of seconds for you, in a matter of 24 hours for me. I'm all done except I can't rip about an inch out of a 2x6. I screwed up trying to do it before. My little table saw is too rickety, and this is 8 foot. I can't do that. Let me show you over here. Was all fitted in nicely, so I figured I'll take the 1 inch off of this. Okay, well, you can see what happens trying to eyeball it, because I couldn't lay a board on here to do it. I couldn't. As a guide, all I had was a 2x6 8-footer, and there was no way I could do it. So I tried with my piss poor eyesight. You can see I went right off, so I wasted a whole board. So what I did is I had to buy another one, put the notches in, got it all in. I wasn't going to fasten this in, but this is all screwed in. And I didn't want to make the rip cut on this board. I wanted it on that one, but it's going to have to be on this one. This is a hair under 5 inches. So I think a 4 3/4 would be good. So that's the only thing left. Everything is all screwed down nicely and all done except for this. I'm losing daylight. The sun is going down from below the tree line here. And that's it. So I gotta stop. I'm going to have to go back on this tomorrow. And I don't know how I'm going to rip that. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I hope I don't have to go and buy another piece of wood. I tried to go by eyeball, and his eyeballs are no damn good. So otherwise, everything is all done. It's all screwed in all the way up to here. This is all fitted in. I think it came out pretty good in that respect. So it's about 4 3/4 inches between them. I took the ruler, put my eyeball right on the board just about, and got it all pretty even. So it's a matter of whipping that down, and it's going to be a little bit of a problem, actually a big problem, because you got the blade width to contend with. And if I don't take enough off of it, then I got to tear my shed apart and find my planer, my power planer, my Ryobi power planer. I guess I could use the power planer, but taking off an inch of wood is a time-consuming job. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is about 25 after 10 in the morning. For the last probably half hour or so, I've been setting up for this rip cut that I showed you that I have to do. Now, it's a good thing I got a couple more 2x6 pressure treated, because they can be used for other things under the deck. When I do this part where the bottles are, I'm going to get rid of those bottles that were pretty much out of the hurricane season for the Northeast, but we can still get storms, and we could lose water, but I got to get all that off when I do work on that, and I will. And I got a lot of rotten wood, as you can see here, and that's going to be a problem. I have to maybe call 1-800-JUNK or something like that. No idea what they're going to charge. But the problem is that I plan on doing this part of the deck probably next year. What I got here is, this is the 2x6 that I screwed up on and notched up, and I tried to rip that one rather than to rip the one next to it, but we're going to be doing the one next to it. So we got this all angled out, and what I got to do here, we're about 4 3/4 here, but you got the blade thickness. So what I would like to do, but I don't think I'm going to be able to, is to have a sacrificial piece here. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. You can see the width is a little wider on the pressure treated than on the Douglas fir that I cut out. Not that much, but I have to have 4.5 inches or a hair over that. So what I think I'll do is I gotta reset this. Now what I did here, this is the piece I'm gonna not only cut, but I'm gonna use. It's already cut down. I took the inch off that I needed, and I screwed this down with my Deckmate 3-inch screws onto an old piece of wood. I measured up on the deck about 8 inches from here to here, so I can reuse this hole that's in this new piece to go into the joist, so I'm not making unnecessary holes. And the same on this end. So this is 6 inches, so I got 2 places here. I got a screw in here for this. And so when I take this piece out after I rip it, this is the joist, because I very carefully measured, so I'm not drilling in this unnecessarily, and the bit rather, can't even talk this morning. The screw is countersunk. Okay, this is a good piece. This is the extra one, but it has a big knot at the other end, so that's why I went out and bought 2. This one and the one that's up here on the deck, and I want to show you again. So hang on. Okay, if I can get my head in here. As close as I can read that. And I don't have my reading glasses on, but I did it yesterday off camera. And I'm a hair under 5 inches. Okay. So, and it's the same all the way down the line here. It takes a lot of time to set it up right, because in my case I got to measure 10 times and cut once. So what I want to do is to cut off the line. Okay, I cut off the line. That'll give me the width, I hope, because I'm allowing for the blade thickness also. It's very hard for me to measure because of my eyesight, of course. So this is my block. I hate handheld. You need a tripod, but I can't do it right now. Oh, okay, you look, it's about 1/4 inch where my thumb is to the line. And when I put this block in the groove on the deck, I get about 1/4 inch according to the eyeball, which is very unreliable. So I've got this all down here. It's perfect at 1/4 inch to the line. Alright, so what I want this to do is to come out so it's really snug. Now we don't want to cut it to the width of the block here. This just happens to be a cut off of a 2x8 that I had. Because then it will be too narrow. Then I'll have to shave it down. So let's go back over to the deck. I'm showing you this as to how I do it. Maybe it'll be helpful to some of you out there. Just remember, I'm no carpenter. So that's how I have to do it. So I'm allowing 1/4 inch. That's a good 1/4 inch, okay? So what I want to do is if I cut the line, I should be a little tighter than that, if I'm not mistaken. If I leave the line and cut on the right side of it, which I'm not doing, let's see, I'm going to have to make an experimental cut. I can't figure this out. So what I got to do is I got to cut in a little bit and then measure here and here. That's all I can do. So we'll do that off camera, and when we get ready, we may have to move this again. It takes more time to set up than it does to do it. I'm no carpenter, so if any of you carpenters out there, just don't watch this video. Thanks. My way. So don't you follow what I do. I do things the way I understand. I'm so afraid of screwing up. It's screwing up took 2 hours out of yesterday, and I had to go and buy some more wood. Here's what I did. I cut in here. Now the problem is this piece is missing here from this screw-up board over here. Okay? So my edge of the saw right here has a tendency to go underneath this until I get over here. Okay? I got this clamped down as tight as I could with one of those deep throat Harbor Freight clamps. Because these things here want to keep popping off all the time when you tighten too much. Anyways, so here's what I did. Flushing this out right here. And drawing a line right here. Now we're going to take that over to the deck. Before I try cutting any more of this. So let's go over there now. Okay. Now we take this in here. Alright, you see where I'm at? Okay. Now that's as close as I can tell. That's going to be a snug fit. But I'd rather have it snug. And worst case scenario, just adjust that jig that I made up there. But you can see it's right on the line because this is pressure treated wood. Otherwise, I would leave the space in there. So, the wood I screwed up originally was the other one I had to. This was one of them I had to buy. I had all the notches in it, and I was doing the cutting on this because I didn't want to cut this, as I said before. So I'm talking soft because my wife is sleeping. She did not have a very good night last night. Okay, so we double check over here. All right. It looks like it might be too tight, but if I can pound it in, all right. If not, I have to shave it or get my power planer. And here it is, about 11 o'clock in the morning now, roughly. Tommy will do the editing on this. I would say, I'm sorry for the shaking. You know, Bob Love doesn't have any image stabilization. It's a good all-around camera, as long as the battery holds up. And actually, this W1 is only supposed to have about an hour on the battery anyways. But for a $22 camera or something like that, I can't complain. It does one of the best quality cameras I've got. Okay. Alright. That's what we're going to do. We'll set you up on a tripod and we'll rip that and we'll bring it over here. And if I can get that in without having to shave any more off, we're about finished. I just put this in. Alright. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be. Here goes. Going slow because we're whipping. It's probably not a whipping blade, but I ain't going to go up by a blade just for one job. I wanted Home Depot to do it, but they said the sawers down there, they don't rip boards. He says it messes up the blades. I believe it. It's the hardest kind of cut to make, going and ripping instead of going with the grain instead of across the grain. Ripping is hard. So I tried to pick the driest 2x6 I've got out of the pile for this one. Yeah. Oh, this is biting. A lot of these saws come with that little fence. It's long gone. I don't have it because I see, videos on YouTube where you just have the whip fence on it and you just go right down. You don't need this. But if I was to look for that, it would take me a week to find it if I have it at all. So this is the best way anyways. Alright, we're halfway through. I always like to take my time on this. It's sitting beautifully. No shifting of the line at all. I'm making sure that I'm right against it. My cord has got to be untangled from the end of the bench. Almost there. Do I dare try this on the deck? Alright, I'll turn you off right now. I'll carry that over and we'll both look at it. It fits as tight as a bull's ass. Little problem in the middle here. I think it's going to be alright. We're going to have to pound this down here. Yeah, she's going to go down there nice. Look at that. Look at that. This made my day. And we're going to finish pounding this down, and then we'll put the screws in. This is why, I don't go by a ruler only, because you always screw up with the blade width, So that's why I used that little block of wood with the line on it. This is the way the old goat does it. Okay, you try to cut freehand, and you can't do it. So let me put you over here on this can here with the nails. This is probably what you've heard at times in the video. We're going to set you right here. Do you mind getting moved around a little bit? A little shaky? Well, it won't hurt you. Okay. We'll get you right in there, and I can pound that right in. Going to commence the screwing now, so I got to get the screwdriver up here and the drill and the decking screws. I'll be right back. Start at the right side and work my way to the left side. And even though we cut off a little, we're still putting 2 screws in the wood. Now, if that had been a 2x3, we'd only need 1 screw, but we're not using that, so you really can't tell too much of a difference. Now, you may say, well, why did you drive it in so hard? Because it's going to swell up. Well, it's already wet and swelled, not soaking wet. So pressure-treated wood will shrink, and there'll be gaps between these planks, which in a way is good because your water can drain off of it. Battery crashed right out instantly. That's alright, it did quite a bit. I'll get my other jaw out. I can't even because it's stuck in there. That happened before. The Harbor Freight, they're cheap, do pretty good. But I got a nice cute little DeWalt that I've used. I only have the 1 battery. It's got a little tiny battery in it. It works really well. So we can get that out. If we can't, we're going to have to borrow the battery out of Tommy's. He's got the same exact drill when he's in the woodworking shop. So I'll borrow the battery so I can get that out. His is all charged up, and I've used it too. And we'll continue with the little DeWalt. I'll be right back. I guess we're recording. Here is my cute little DeWalt that I got at the yard sale about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. It's only a 12 volt, but it's a nice one. Oh, I don't know. I didn't pay much for it. Probably 10 bucks. I'll tell you, they don't just have very many yard sales now. And this is Tommy's battery. So I'm going to borrow that just enough to get the drill to reverse, because I guess it drops to a certain voltage, it goes right out. This happened before. Put it on charge, it's good as new when you charge it right here. On the DeWalt, not sure where you charge it. I think you take it off and charge it. I don't know, but anyways, I just charged this last week. out of battery. Okay, good. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, left the joint over here. Okay, I'm going to use my little D.I.Y here. And we set that to 15. Okay, I think this is the end of the project for this year. We got to work on this, but we're not doing that this year because I'm going to have to do some work on the joist on that side like I did over there, and those extra 2x6s will come in handy for that. Actually, just that one 8-footer would be more than enough because there's a joist that runs this way, so we definitely will be able to use that other 2x6 in here, but I got to rip all this out, and that's not going to be done right away. These boards are pretty darn good. The only thing is, as I said, I had to notch these out, the other ones under the wood, so I can get my crowbar in there. But it's not going to hurt anything, you know. So we're very good. What I'm going to do off camera is, first of all, I'm going to sweep this, get this stuff out of here, and I'm going to sweep this. I'll do it, like I say, I'll do that off camera, and kneel down on the pad and check and make sure I got all the screws in, because I said I was going to get a straight edge because I missed a screw over on this board. This is the one I ripped on this one yesterday. So it's always good to double check. So this is beautiful. No, that's not going anywhere. So, okay, this concludes part number 5. All the rest is cleanup. So thank you for watching. Remember, this is a do-it-yourselfer, not a carpenter. I'm not a pro. Never claimed to be. I just do the best I can. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.